What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. My name is Jonah, and today I'm going to be traveling today. I'm going to switch things up from my Smart Vanlife channel, where I'm working on my van that's sitting behind me, which is a cargo van, converting into a camper van. And instead of doing the van build out video today, I'm going to be driving to Columbus, Ohio with my buddy Cecil, and I'm going to be documenting our trip, so please stay tuned. So instead of driving the van, I'm going to be taking my wife's Tesla Model 3, and she's been having some battery issues, so I'm going to check it out. And our Tesla is a long range version, which gets a little bit over 300 miles on a full charge. That is if you were to charge it up to full 100%, but we set our charge at the default 90%, so which gets us around 290 miles according to Tesla. So the trip will be 2.5 hours going to Columbus, Ohio, and then about 2.5 hours driving back. It may be a little bit longer because I'm picking up my buddy Cecil along the way. All right, let's get going. So start of the trip, I'm at 7313, 7,313 miles, and then so we're going to be driving to Columbus, Ohio. So at 87%, which is kind of weird because we charged overnight, all night, so it should be at 90% mark where the line ticker is, but haven't left yet, but it's at 87%. So I'm kind of a little disappointed starting out. I was hoping that I would be able to get there and come back in a single charge, but let's see how that works. Okay, I just got to my buddy Cecil's. Right now I'm at 238 miles left. I don't know, around like 40 miles. Not even. I mean, he lives like 32 miles from me. So, my buddy Cecil. Showing Cecil the acceleration.
Oh, snap. Damn. Man, this got some pickup.
Yep.
Seriously, bro. And it's smooth. Wow.
Yeah, it's smooth.
It's a lot smoother than I had my Audi. No, seriously, man, that is smooth.
That is
a smooth.
Alright, so we're driving we just passed Dayton, and then we're heading to Columbus. I think we're about 30-40 miles away. We've been using the autopilot, showing Cecil the autopilot mode. That's Cecil right here. A few things that I wanted to mention. So my wife, who drives this car on a daily basis, she drives about close to 30 miles, so she's in traffic a lot during the rush hour. We're basically just average users of Tesla, so we typically leave any of the settings are at default for the most part, but because it was getting cold the past month, recently the current recent temperature has been around 30s, 40s. We're in mid-December now. She had some issues with the car, which I'm going to mention. So number one, we're noticing that the car is draining battery rapidly, even when the car is parked, even the car is not operating. And this happens when my wife Kalia, she's at work, and she's at work for typical day 8 to 9 hours, and parked outside in a parking lot. For the mileage on the car, the battery will drop to 20 miles less by the time that she leaves, and it's been happening consistently. Even yesterday, when she was at work, she texted me and says, "You know what? Opa," is what she calls me. I'm worried now because the car has 50 miles left on the charge, but it's dropping pretty quickly, and because she's been checking the battery on her phone through her app, and so she had a little bit of anxiety yesterday. She wasn't sure if she was going to be able to make it home, or she needed to travel to nearest charging station. So, but she made it back home okay. But it's been happening and due to temperature drop, because the car is trying to maintain certain temperature when it's not moving, when it's parked, from preventing the car or batteries from freezing. That was an issue that we noticed more recently as the temperature dropped. The second issue that faced this week was when she leaves work, she typically puts her work bag with her laptop in the back of her trunk, and she drives about an hour during evening rush hour traffic home. And by the time she got home, she parked, and then she was trying to get her bag out of the trunk, and the trunk had frozen. So, and that wasn't the only occurrence of freezing door. I actually shot a video about a month ago when we had our first snow. I'll put a link below so you can check it out. But basically what happened was that when we had our first snow of the year, the temperature basically dropped. We had an Arctic blast, and the temperature dropped to like lower 20s. And it was a day that I was trying to get to work early so I could leave early, and then noticed that there was snow. So my mind was like in the snow clearing mode. So we have several cars. My car was a pickup truck, and it just so happens that the night before we had a delivery from Walmart, and the delivery truck driver put a big package in front of the garage. So my wife ended up not parking in the garage. She parked it in the back driveway, and so it snowed overnight. So there was about 2-3 inches of snow along with the cold. Now, as I was making my round, going from car to car to clear off the snow, when I got to Tesla, and as I was clearing it off, I was going to open the door to turn up the heat, and the door lock froze. So Cecil's first time being at least in Model 3, right, today?
Yeah, first time. Very, very smooth.
Mm-hmm. And then because he hasn't seen how the door handles work, you basically have to press on it with your thumb, and then you pull on the handle to open up the car. But basically around there, because it's sort of recessed in, and basically the ice had built up around the handle, so I couldn't push to open the door. I can't open any of the doors, so this door handle, when you click on it, when you press on it, you're supposed to, so it swings open. I had to be out there. Basically I had to go and get hot water to unfreeze it, and afterwards we found out there's ways to sort of mitigate that with using like silicone spray that prevents the door from freezing. But that was our first snow. This is the first winter that we experienced with our Tesla, and it wasn't a fun experience. And basically when I found out, with the frozen door, basically all of the door handles were frozen. All the doors were frozen, and we had a bit of trouble that morning. So that was basically all weather-related issues. So I figure I'll just mention that because I don't drive this on a daily basis, and my wife was complaining about these issues more so this week. So while we were on this trip, I wanted to check it out, get a more updated feel for the car, because there's been like software updates on this car as well.
That's interesting. I know they had software updates.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, man. You should play around with this thing.
Oh, so from here you're saying?
Yep. I mean, it does it over in 2 different ways. There's one, if you're on the Wi-Fi network at your house, it's faster. I mean, it'll update. And then 2, it uses like cellular. As long as you're within like a cellular network, it's always connected. So the downloads happen automatically. So whenever there's an update, it'll notify you on your phone. And then when during the updating, you're not allowed to. I mean, you're not supposed to drive it. I don't know if it will let you, but it depends on your speed of your connection. You know, it will happen like faster or slower. But what's cool is that some of the updates, you can watch Netflix on here now. You can play video games on here while it's parked. There's like this mode where this is like this romantic mode, where let's say when your wife is, I don't know, at a scenic place, you can turn on like this romantic sort of fireplace thing with the music playing. Sometimes when they do update, it'll make your car faster.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then some updates will make your battery last longer. But we've been having issues with our charging, and I mean, I don't know if it's an issue, but that's how it is.
So you mentioned that charging this your vehicle takes about 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, it really depends on how much. If I wanna, like, how much I have left on my charge. So, if there's no, and also it really depends on like how many cars. So, on the typical charging stations that I've been to, there's about 7 to 10 stations, and depends on like how many other cars are within that station. So if I'm there by myself or a couple other cars, then it charges really fast. It may charge like, it may take 20 minutes, but if the stations are all full, then the charging takes a little bit slower time, from what I noticed.
Okay.
And then this is from Glia. My wife and I went to Asheville, North Carolina, which is about like 6 hours from Cincinnati. So we had to stop at like several charging stations.
It's not bad.
Now turn right onto Kenny Road.
And then you got the awesome screen where you can, while you're waiting, watch Netflix.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
Really a good wait.
And mostly the charging stations are stationed around like restaurants and malls or things like that. So while you're waiting, you can go grab food or coffee or whatnot.
In 500 feet, turn left onto West North Broadway Street.
All right, now we're just getting to Columbus, and then I have 104 miles left. So I don't think we're gonna make it back on a single charge. So I think we drove like 130 miles, but battery's been draining a lot quicker. We're about to head out to our friend Lalo's house. So he lives about 30 minutes away from traffic from where we are in Westerville, Ohio. And we're in Upper Arlington, Columbus right now. It's really nice suburbs. All right, so me and Cecil just got to Westerville. We came to eat at Duck Donuts. And then my buddy who we met, he came before us and he already ordered the donuts for us. So we're just gonna go back to his house and eat it. But just want to point out where we are with the charge. I left on my charge, and from where we started, 73.13. Right now we're at 74.86. Yeah, we just got to Lalo's new place. Yeah, he lives in the Westerville suburbs with my donuts. All right, so we are still in Columbus, and I'm down to 29 miles of charge, which is kind of disappointing. So we drove so far 179 miles, and yeah, we really didn't make it to make it on a single charge. The
Now you have arrived at your destination.
We cut it close, but we made it to the charging station with the warning signs. Yeah, so it's gonna take about 20-30 minutes. All right, so I was wrong. It'll take 40 minutes.
Took 40 minutes to charge though?
It might go faster. Hope it goes faster.
Wow.
So we need at least 180 miles for me to get back home. So while waiting, we're going to Big Lots and TJ Maxx to do some shopping. And Tesla is going to let us know when the car is ready for us to pick it up through the app. They'll send a notification. Just got fully charged from the supercharging station. We have 287 miles of full charge, and then we're heading back home. Yeah, just getting home. All right, let's see. Okay, so I just got home and I have 130 miles left. Tiger, are you glad to that I'm back? Huh? You glad I'm back? Hmm? It's for me. Tiger. Okay, so I'm back home now. I have some calculations based on what I have driven today. I have a spreadsheet here, and basically I broke it down into the actual miles that I driven versus the miles that the Tesla claims that what was left on the battery. So the usage of those miles. So the differences are, so I'll just read it off. On the actual miles driven, I have total of 324 miles. So that's the distance that I started from my house to pick up Cecil, and then driving up to Columbus to Lilo's house, and then to the Tesla supercharge station, and then back home. I dropped Cecil off, and then I drove back home, and I just got in around midnight, and right now it's around 1 o'clock. I'm just going to do this before I go to sleep. And the miles claimed on the battery, so basically when the Tesla says you have 90% charge, and within that 90% you have 280 miles left, or 287 miles. So using those numbers, basically the miles that they claim that I have used is 424 miles. So the difference between the actual miles and what they claim is 100 miles, and then with that calculation, that's about 76.4% accuracy. I don't know if that's good or bad. It seemed reasonable, a little disappointed in my mind, but just ask my wife like how often she charges, and she drives normally, like normal commute to work. And even on this trip, I was probably about 80% on the highway. I would say about 15 to 20% I was on local road, but for the most part I was on the highway, driving 65 to 75 miles per hour. So it was normal driving, highway driving for the most part. The battery drained pretty fast because it's wintertime. And even when I was at Lilo's house, by the time I got into his house, and from the time that we left, the battery kept on dropping. So back to my wife, she said that during summertime versus wintertime, I asked her how often she charges. She said there's a big difference between when she charged during summertime versus wintertime. During summertime, she can get away with charging once a week, but during wintertime, she charges every 3 days. So it's big difference between once a week to 3 days a week. but she gets to do that, the convenience of being at home. So those are the numbers, and I'm just reporting what I've experienced. Again, I don't know if this is good or bad. It does seem like during wintertime, Tesla uses the battery heavily. We haven't had a full cycle. We haven't had the car for the entire year yet. We're just diving into the wintertime. So I'm assuming it's going to get a little bit worse, but you guys can pick out a rationale yourself based on these numbers. So one thing I will say is that I do apologize for showing a Tesla in my Smart Van YouTube channel. I know it's a little off topic, but today was a day that I had to go out of town and my van wasn't ready, and because it's still under the van, like the build out process right now. So but I figure I'll just capture the day. I figure I'll just post it here. So I hope you don't take offense to it. I don't think there's anybody on my channel yet. I barely don't have any subscriber because I just started the channel. So, but I hope you found this video helpful somewhat. If you found it interesting, please hit the like button. And then if you like to see more videos, either Tesla or Smart Van, it'll be more about the van. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll hope to see you next time. Thank you. Have you a wonderful day. So a couple of things I want to add that I missed. So number one, the next morning, which is today, and I want to check and see if the miles had gone down, how much it had gone down. And I purposely didn't plug it in last night because I wanted to check and see. So last night when I came in, it was at 114 miles, and since then it was sitting here almost 12 hours. So right now it's 11:41. So right now it's at 103. So that means that overnight it dropped 11 miles, and current temperature is 43, and that was pretty much the temperature throughout the night. And number two, I want to give a shout out to my friends Tony and Sarah, who came over to our house for dinner this week, and they brought me this rubber seal protection spray. Because after watching, I had a previous video where I was having issues with opening the Tesla door when the door had frozen. So I want to thank them for bringing this. And they also have a Tesla channel on YouTube, as well as they're more active on the Twitter right now, as well as podcasts. So their Twitter handle is Tesla Fudge, and I'll put the description below. And as far as their podcast, once I know what their podcast address is, I'll also put it under the description. So please check them out. But anyways, thank you for watching, and then I'll see you next time.